Marcus Haggeney, FAI Secretary General, thank you for joining us once again on Air Sports News.
Nice to speak to you. Nice to see you again. How are you doing?
I'm good, my friend. Summer finally has hit Montreal. It's lovely and warm.
Yeah, it's been here in Switzerland since some days, so it's very pleasant indeed, yes.
So when we first spoke on the first episode 7 weeks ago, the process was getting into full swing. Competitions were starting to be moved and postponed. Just tell me, catch us up a little bit, what's been happening in those last 6 or 7 weeks with you guys?
Well, what you just said is still happening. I mean, most events have been addressed already, but some are really still late in the year. So they remain on the calendar. However, we need to be realistic. They will all be reviewed right now. Second and third quarter, I would say 100% of the events have been cancelled or postponed already. And some are still somehow on the radar, but likelihood are not really high. And the situation still, as before, less concerned about being infected because the exposure is more or less now across Europe similar. But quarantine requirements on entry and exit of the country makes it impossible for international travel.
Yeah, we're seeing, like you say, some restrictions being dropped. General aviation last week in the UK was allowed again. In the skydiving world, some areas are starting to jump again in the States, not in the UK. Paragliders are fine. You've been paragliding.
Yesterday.
Yes. I think we all just want to get back in the air when we can.
Of course. I mean, but there's a difference between leisure flying, individual activities, because there you can have your distancing easily. But in a competition, you have a lot of people in a very close proximity on the ground. In the air, in the cockpit, we are all far away, of course, but on the ground, all the logistics around that makes it.
So tell me about your workload with the office of the FAI. How is it different now than it would be under normal circumstances?
Well, quite a big part of this team is working on competition-related matters or record-related matters. And no competition, no medals, no competitions, no diploma. No flying, no records. So that part is really suffering a lot. And also we have less anti-doping activities. So to a certain extent, we are really reduced in our workload. But in other parts, it just goes on, like finances, closing the books, having the audit, introducing new processes, new projects even. That keeps us busy. So yes, we are going down in our workload, but in the end, it's a different picture in the office. Still, we decided to reduce overall because the government in Switzerland and the canton offers some support, financial support when you reduce the workload and when you reduce the presence in the office. That's something of which most or all international federations benefit from, because we all suffer the same thing and we do the same. But still, I'm busy as always, and most of my team as well. But we manage overall quite well, but on a lower scale.
Two stories we touched on last week in the news. Of course, the postponement of the rally flying in South Africa. We caught up with Mary de Klerk on that. And of course, the event, which is very close to our hearts, the Gordon Bennett's in Poland, postponed till next year as well.
Yeah, that's true. And if I may expand a little on the Gordon Bennett, that's a long distance gas balloon race, as you and I know so well. But this race is a race which potentially reaches out to all countries in Europe. And of course, there's no virus in the air when we are flying, but teams follow on the ground. People are crossing country borders. People return, people are on the road for several days, and it's impossible to do that under the current regime. Plus, on top of that, when we ask air traffic controllers before the race, what we usually do 6-8 weeks before, asking for entry and overflight permissions, they will now refrain from giving us this permission because they don't know what's happening at that time. So they are all kind of reserved, and it just doesn't make sense to run it this year. It's just too complicated. So it was postponed to next year, and then hopefully things will be back to normal.
Are you involved with negotiating for events that are being moved from 21 to 22?
Well, I mean, that's primarily a task which our airsport commissions have on their shoulders. I am assisting when it's needed, sometimes also for political reasons, to give our organizers the necessary support, because they largely depend on approval by their local governments, by their sponsors. So if helpful, I get involved also to give FAIs assurance that things are all well managed, also in another year if that event has been postponed. But the technical discussions are happening between the commissions and the organizers. So yes, I'm there, but mostly on a listening watch, except where I can help to kick the event off next year, and then I'm happy to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Marcus Haggeney. Again, we'll catch up with you a bit further down the line for the next update, but for now, thanks for joining us on Air Sports News.
Thank you so much. Speak soon again. Cheers for now.